Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen Hill for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a very special breakdown of Week 2 of all the NFL action that we have going throughout the NFL. Week 1 was filled with a lot of injuries, a lot of sloppy play, and a lot of surprises from a lot of teams that we didn't expect. But the good thing is Week 2 is here. Football fans, I'm going to go through the predictions of each and every game that we have on the slate for next week for the football fans. And before I get right into that, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Go ahead right now, YouTube.com/JustMyPicksTV for all the updates, all the breaking news, so we can get right into this video. Now, last week we saw a lot of upsets. We saw a lot of crazy games, but we're going to get right into this. Number one game, you're looking at Texans versus Panthers. Both these teams struggled in Week 1. The Carolina Panthers did win, and you're looking at the Houston Texans, came out with a loss. You're looking just at what they did over the weekend and how many injuries they suffered with. Carolina Panthers got Luke Kuechly a concussion, if you will, in that football game against the Jaguars, and that hurt that football team. They cannot win a lot of football games without Luke Kuechly. He is the quarterback of that defense. Cam Newton was the quarterback of the offense, of course. I've seen Cam Newton play a little bit better. I think that with a little bit of home cooking in Carolina, they'll be able to get back on track, and I'm picking them to beat the Houston Texans in Carolina because I feel like the run game has to get better. I think that they will improve a little bit, and especially when you're at Carolina with some home cooking and you're sleeping in your own bed, you'll have a little bit more rest, and I think that you'll definitely play a little bit better at home than you will on the road. So I'm picking the Carolina Panthers to win that one. The Steelers taking on the 49ers. Le'Veon Bell should be back for this one. I'm looking for Le'Veon Bell to be the X factor in this football game. I don't care what the San Francisco 49ers do. That team is not going to be successful this year. They got rid of Harbaugh. Patrick Willis retired. Aldon Smith now plays for the Raiders. You got so many things that's going wrong with this organization. So I'm looking for the Steelers to not only bounce back from that loss from the opening night from the Patriots, to winning this football game very convincingly. I know Tomlin was not happy with the way that the defense played and the way that it gave up so many easy touchdowns to Rob Gronkowski that I think that you'll see a better effort and you'll see a lot more execution out of this defense. I'm picking the Steelers to win this one big. Now, going into Saints versus Buccaneers, a very big NFC South matchup we have here. You're looking at just overall what these teams can do. Drew Brees is still Drew Brees, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are still the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm looking for the Buccaneers to struggle. That defense historically has not done well on the road. You're looking at what they do against the Saints very well. The pass rush used to get to Drew Brees, but at this point in time, I don't see this pass rush being a problem when you're talking about the New Orleans Saints because that offensive line can steadfast for a couple of plays and get the job done. I think the Saints will win this one, and I think the Drew Brees and Saints will get their first win of the year and get back on track. Coming into this second game, this is a very tricky game because the NFC North with the Lions and the Vikings and the Packers and the Bears is full of potential. You know, the Minnesota Vikings, they're full of potential. The Green Bay Packers are full of potential. But considering the Detroit Lions with Megatron and Matthew Stafford no longer having Ndamukong Suh taking on the Vikings are a pretty good team, pretty good bunch. You're looking at how that defense has improved drastically. Also, the Lions, loss of Ndamukong Suh has shown its ugly head. You look at what they did against the San Diego Chargers and how they had that game late and how they let it slip away. I'm looking for the Lions to bounce back in this one, but traditionally, the Minnesota Vikings are not that well as far as playing division foes like the Lions and things like that. But I think that with Adrian Peterson running on a mission for his life, he wants to prove a lot of people wrong. He wants to make everybody know, look, I may have been out last year. Let's not think DeMarco Murray is the god of football. I'm still the best running back in the NFL. I don't care about Marshawn Lynch. I don't care about all those. AP is a full-grown man, and I think he's still the best running back in the NFL. Years of footage and clips and highlights would go for that. So in this game, I think it's going to be close, but I have to give it to the Minnesota Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater is a pretty good quarterback, and I think that they have more weapons than the Lions do at this very moment. The running back, Abdullah, for the Lions is a pretty good rookie running back, though, but I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Cardinals and Bears. Cardinals and Bears is going to be a pretty weird game because I'm expecting the Arizona Cardinals, they should be able to win this game running away, but the way that the NFL season is set up, you can have an upset at any point in time. Jay Cutler and the Bears were sporadic against the Green Bay Packers earlier this year, but the good thing is they fought the full 4 quarters. They didn't give up as usual as they normally would, but Jay Cutler was the same old Jay Cutler making mistakes late into the football game, and I think that the Cardinals have enough defense and offense to get the job done. I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Chicago Bears. Now, one of the games of the week I'm focusing on. The New England Patriots taking on the Buffalo Bills. Marcel Darius will be back for this football game, folks. You're looking at the defense and how they played well in that first game, the Buffalo Bills. And you're looking at how Tyrod Taylor played very well in his first game as a starter in the NFL. Tom Brady and the Patriots, as always, they were fantastic in that first game. They really came out and they stuck it to the Pittsburgh Steelers, were very aggressive. You could talk about the headset stuff and things like that. That goes on in almost every NFL game. You'll have some type of glitch or something like that goes on. So the Patriots just start cheating this year early. That's all. But I think that this is an intriguing matchup because for years the Buffalo Bills have been the real contender, if you will, that stood in the way in this AFC East rivalry. You know that they've not been successful as far as beating the Patriots, but giving them great games, especially in Buffalo, has been their forte and what they've been doing pretty well. So when I look at this game, I'm looking at the Patriots as having the less talent. On Buffalo, you have Percy Harvin, Sammy Watkins on offense, Tyrod. Just the plethora of people that they have. They have Taylor as the quarterback. So you're looking at some of the things that they can do, and also Shady McCoy on offense. So the offense is stacked for the Buffalo Bills. They have to ground and pound. They have to use Percy Harvin in several different running back, wide receiver, and slot positions. They can pull off this upset. And I'm picking the Buffalo Bills to circle the wagons and to get this win in Buffalo to beat the Patriots, you guys. So I want to know what some of you Buffalo Bills fans think, Bills Mafia and Patriots Nation. What do you think? I have the Buffalo Bills winning a very close one, 31-28 in Buffalo. Now, moving on, we have the Chargers taking on the Bengals. Last week, the Bengals do what they supposed to do. They beat the living daylights out the Oakland Raiders, and the Chargers came from behind with a victory at the Lions. You're looking at these two teams as being inconsistent, one being inconsistent in the playoffs, one being inconsistent in the regular season, and you look at Phillip Rivers and what he's able to accomplish. The Cincinnati Bengals have a pretty good defense, and I don't know how much of that was the Bengals being good versus the Oakland Raiders being bad. You saw how they got to the quarterback, they got the pressure, Andy Dalton made his plays, got the ball to A.J. Green, Sanu, things like that. They did what they're supposed to do. So in this football game, it's going to be a coin toss. So when the coin toss happens, I have to go with the San Diego Superchargers. I think that they'll be able to go on the road. Danny Woodhead and company will be able, with Phillip Rivers, with a little bit of protection, to get the ball deep in this football game. You have Allen, the wide receiver for the San Diego Chargers, who can get deep. You also have Stevie Johnson, who made his presence known in the preseason, had a pretty good preseason and a pretty good first game. So looking at that, I have to go with the San Diego Chargers to win that football game because I don't think the Bengals are going to make the playoffs this year. I think Andy Dalton takes a step back, and I think that these guys are not for real as far as that. But that defense, though, very, very stingy for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, coming up, Titans taking on the Browns. Titans versus Browns is very intriguing because we saw Johnny Manziel fail last week against the New York Jets, and we saw that they had their starting quarterback, McCown, knocked out. Now, when you're looking at this football game, I want to know, can Marcus Mariota go seriously out of the shotgun for most of the plays and go under center and do NFL quarterbacks do? We saw him majority of the plays last week go from the shotgun for situational passes, and he did pretty good against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this is going to be a stout Browns defense. This Browns defense can really make plays. As you saw last week before they lost their quarterback and before they started struggling, this Browns defense is loaded on defense. So you have a lot of playmakers that can take advantage of a young rookie. I think they're going to throw the sink at Marcus Mariota, but I think it will not matter in this football game. I think Marcus Mariota and the Titans are going to take advantage of Andrew Luck losing last week, and they're going to try to build on that lead. Kid plays pretty good. He didn't even run a lot last week. But Marcus Mariota is looking like a true professional. Thus far, I believe in the guy. Just a small sample size of what he's done. He didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter, really, because they were up by so much. So, kid's phenomenal. I'm picking the Titans to win that one in a very close game. Now, you have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the New York Giants in New York City. New Jersey, if you will, the Meadowlands. But Looking at this matchup, the Atlanta Falcons are poor on defense, piss poor. There's no other way to say it. They invest all this money on offense, no money on defense, and you have trash on the defense. They're almost like the Colts. You have all this offense, but you can't stop anybody. You can't stop a nosebleed. So in this game, I think that it's going to be Eli Manning and the Giants wanting to get back on the good side of the win standing after losing a close game against the Dallas Cowboys that they should have won, that they had control of for most of the game. So I think that Odell Beckham Jr. and company will be back to do great things. I think that the Atlanta Falcons, as good as they are on offense, they cannot afford to lose a game on the road like this because, let's face it, the Carolina Panthers are seriously in the division as far as the king of the division right now. So they want to get as many games as possible outside of Division 1, so when they do start winning those division matchups or losing those division matchups, they'll have a leg to stand on or be above them in the standings. But I think that the Giants and Eli Manning at home will win this football game, and I think that they'll pay back some of that payback that they got from last year losing in Atlanta. Now, when you're going to this next game, we're going to have the Rams versus Redskins. Crazy thing about this, people, RG3 will not be playing more than likely. He'll be the third-string quarterback that the Rams got all those goods from that trade and didn't really see a return from RG3 yet besides his rookie season. Flat out, folks, I think the Rams are going to win this football game. I don't believe in anything the Washington Redskins are doing. I think that the way that they're treating RG3 is a mishandling of some sort. You don't have your third-string quarterback, which used to be your franchise starter, playing safety and scout team. That's just stupid. I think that the Rams overall are better on defense. I think that they have better special teams. And I think that the offense is even neck and neck, but I think that the offense is going to have their way in Washington with the Rams as far as them running over the Redskins. Now, next game, the Dolphins taking on the Jaguars. The Jaguars, let's face it, folks, this team is struggling. They have a young quarterback in Blake Bortles. Pretty good quarterback. The hot seat is starting to get hotter in Jacksonville. You cannot continuously lose year after year with that kind of payroll that they're not spending down there. So you have to spend money for veterans. You have to spend money to get people in those stadiums. And I think that the Dolphins are going to win this one pretty easily in a you got a North Florida showdown between two Florida teams. I like the Miami Dolphins big in this football game. Now, the Ravens versus the Raiders. Even though they lost Terrell Suggs, I think that Terrell Suggs' loss is going to motivate a lot of these Ravens to not only get better, but to play better in his absence. I know that that's losing the best player on your defense, and I think that Terrell Suggs is the heart and soul of that team. He's the emotional leader, spoken leader, things like that. But the Raiders look god-awful against the Bengals last week. I don't even know why they're still called an NFL team at this point because, folks, what they laid, that goose egg before those starters left that football game was terrible. They were shut out throughout most of that game. Meaningless fourth quarter. So I think if they kept the starters in, they would not have scored points really all game. Now, Cowboys and Eagles. Flat out, after losing Dez Bryant, I don't think the Cowboys have what it takes to do anything until those guys come back. They have so many injuries on defense. You look at how they had Randy Gregory, the guy that got drafted, the troublesome guy that got drafted out of Nebraska. He's out with a high ankle sprain. Dez Bryant out with a broken foot 4 to 6 weeks. You're looking at they don't get Hardy back until 3 weeks from now. So it's so many injuries. They cannot really run the football. They ran it okay against the Giants, but the Giants don't have a real defense at this moment. So you're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chip Kelly offense and that speed. I think that DeMarco Murray is going to be motivated to run the ball down their throat. They're going to give the ball to DeMarco Murray more times than they normally would in this football game, and I think that he's going to win them the game. And plus, that spread offense it's lethal. And when they get first downs and they start connecting the dots, there's not a team in football that can contend with them as far as the speed of how they play. Now we're getting to the big three games of the week. Monday Night Football, we have Jets versus Colts. The Jets did a pretty good job of beating down Johnny Manziel and the Browns last week. I think that their defense is fully loaded. That offense is very respectable with Brandon Marshall as the cornerstone of wide receivers on that team. You look at just what he's able to do and the way that he drags attention from the defense to the offense, and I think that he is going to be a key factor in this football game. Andrew Luck, as always, doesn't have a defense, but he's a hell of an offensive player. Struggled last week with all those turnovers. Now, you're looking at the Jets as the winner in this football game. On Monday night, I think they're going to be blitz happy. They're going to make Andrew Luck get the ball out of his hands. They're going to attack Frank Gore at the line of scrimmage with all those huge defensive linemen, and I like the Jets defense better than I do the Colts defense. So even if this gets into a high-scoring affair, the defense of the Jets, even though they lost Antonio Cromartie, is going to be winning this football game. The Jets defense is going to be a major factor in this one. Now, going to the Sunday night game, the Seahawks taking on the Packers. The Seahawks taking on the Packers is also a rematch, if you remember, of the NFC Championship game where there was so much controversy. So the Seahawks don't have Cam Chancellor, if you remember. He's still in a holdout, and I don't think that the Seahawks are going to be good enough to stop Aaron Rodgers in this football game. Aaron Rodgers is playing with a confidence like we've never seen before. The guy can run. The guy can throw. Make every single throw on the quarterback chart. You're looking at what he does to make his teammates better. Clay Matthews in that defense and Julius Peppers in that defense were flying around the football yesterday. The Packers actually look like they have a pretty good defense. So even though it was against the Bears have a pretty good offense, but they held them in check for most of the football game, and I think that special teams, Randall Cobb is going to make a difference in this football game. Also, Aaron Rodgers is going to go at Richard Sherman. I think that the last couple of times they played, he shied away from going at Richard Sherman, but Mr. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Discount Double Check, will be in this football game going heavily at Richard Sherman. And lastly, the Thursday night game of the week, Broncos taking on the Chiefs. The Chiefs look so very well in that football game against the Texans. And it was crazy. When I tell you, Alex Smith looked like a real deal quarterback. He hit the tight end up for 2 touchdowns. And you're looking at just what these guys are able to do. Andy Reid has this team looking good. They got Eric Berry back, and he's been a motivation after beating leukemia. That is an awesome story. I think that they're getting back to the point where they're going to be an outstanding football team. With the help of wide receivers and the help that they have at the running back position, I think that this team is going to have a better offense. And we know the last couple of years, the Denver Broncos have been whipping the hell out of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that buck stops here. I think that Peyton Manning, that arm strength, I don't know what's going on. His arm continuously looks weak after week. And I think that it's not the same Peyton Manning. And you know that the velocity on those throws is getting worse and worse. It's a toss-up, but I have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs in this one, folks. I think that they're going to be in Arrowhead. It's going to be a rocking atmosphere. It's going to be a Thursday night. It's going to be sold out. You know that they're going to have the excellent barbecue, the beautiful cheerleaders, yada, yada, yada. But I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this football game. Never mind the other stuff that goes around the football game. The defense of the Chiefs is rocking the offense. If you look at the tight end play, very good, exceptional tight end play. So I'm looking for Alex Smith to game manage a little bit better and to get these guys a W and to go up 2-0 in as far as their record. So all these games I've predicted. If you're a fan of these and you don't agree with it, please leave your comments in the comment section below. Also, check out justmypicks.com for all the breaking news, all the updates, all the hottest sports. Also, please check us out on Facebook.com/justmypicks. Follow me on Twitter, justmypicks, Twitter /JustMyPicksTV. Thank you. But thank you as always for tuning in. Please share this video in any sports groups that you have on Facebook so we can debate with you and all of your friends next week. Thank you so very much. We'll see you next week for week number 3. See you next time.